It's funny, man. I'm currently reading a book where it's called Blood in the Garden. It's about the '90s Knicks, and I just keep thinking to myself, I wish somebody had a camera on me when I am reading Blood in the Garden about the '90s Knicks versus when I watch this current Knicks team. Because the emotions I have on my face when I'm reading the book about the '90s Knicks versus when I'm watching this current Knicks team are very, very different. Um, it, I don't even know what to say. Let's talk Knicks, guys. Welcome to BD4, episode 457. Here we are again. Welcome to BD4, an RJ Carbone podcast. BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. BD4 is a 5-star show on Apple Podcasts, also available in video format on YouTube and Spotify. So thanks for stopping by, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Champion of the world, turning, looking, see ya!
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied. Time!
Penetrates, creates, and showing some dexterity as well with the left hand.
Yankees win!
So, yeah, I'm going to try to cut this one short. I'm going to try to get this one under 30 minutes. We'll see. Because it's like, how much can you say? The Knicks didn't try yesterday. Welcome to the show, episode 457 of the podcast. Thanks for tuning in to BD4. You know where to find me and all that stuff. So 5 in a row last night. After last night. After that loss, the Knicks have now lost 5 in a row after winning 8 in a row. How Knicks is that? And I do not care that the Knicks were without Brunson or Barrett. And if you are giving that excuse, you are most likely younger than me or about my age tops. Do they miss Brunson? Of course they do. I mean, they need him back ASAP. They have no leader on the floor without him. He was that calm presence that ran the offense. But I'm not acting like this Knicks team would have won with him or even RJ for that matter last night. The Knicks lost 122-115 in San Antonio last night because they played without energy. There was no zip. They played like a very entitled team, like they knew this was going to be a win. They played clearly still emotionally affected by their disgraceful collapse in Dallas 2 nights prior. So, yeah, it was all effort last night in Texas. That's it. It was effort. And we could end the show right there if we wanted to. This was the Spurs, people. The terrible, tanking, boring, low-energy 14th seed San Antonio Spurs. And the Knicks lost to them by 7 points. Was the offense clunky? Yes. Randle and Quickly were the only ones who showed up. And even they were, volume shooting a little bit, but that's them, that's who they are. But they showed up with strong offensive games. Randle dropped 41 points, 11 boards, 7 assists. Quickly dropped 36 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. And overall, the Knicks did score 115 points at the end of the day, which is fine. That's average. But last night, without any energy, it was the defense that lost the Knicks the game. And that's what it usually is. I mean, outside this fluky 8-game streak that they went on, which we have to stop talking about at some point. But outside that streak, it's been the defense for the most part this year, right? They were just horrific on that end. An atrocity beyond belief. There was no effort on the glass. The Knicks were torched in the paint all around last night. They lost the rebounding 48-38. They lost the second chance battle 22-21. They lost the points in the paint battle 62-42. The Spurs picked the Knicks apart in the dribble drive all night. They slowed it down. They played the half-court game, and they killed the Knicks in penetration. Whether it was a kick out to the perimeter, or a dump off, or a finish down low, the Spurs destroyed the Knicks off the dribble drive, and they pounded the paint. They beat the Knicks at their own game. They kept moving around. They were swinging the ball around to different guys. The Knicks couldn't keep up, and they couldn't keep guys in front of them. But one talking point, one storyline that has gotten louder and louder these last couple games and really reached a top volume last night was one, that I'm going to bring up, and this is probably going to be our only talking point of the episode, because, again, I'm going to try to keep it short, but Cam Reddish. And, let's talk about Cam, because I'm seeing some stuff. All right, can we talk Cam? We'll do it. Let's head to break. We'll get back, and we'll make this our main subject point of this episode. Cam Reddish. Be right back, though. Gonna head to a quick break. Hey, guys. So if you are a listener of the podcast often, and you want to know where to find me on social media, you can find me on Facebook at BD4. You can find me on Twitter at BD4Pod. And you can also find me on Instagram at Rob J. Carbone. Listen, he's not going to play. Okay? Cam Reddish is not going to play. He's not. He has officially played his final game as a Knick. Unless 9 guys get injured, he's not playing. That was established the week following his initial benching for Grimes. He's, as far as we know, he's not even a Knick anymore. He's not a New York Knick. For as long as he's still under contract with the Knicks, he's the same as a fan, as a damn Knicks City dancer, but he's not one of the 9-10 rotation players. He isn't a Knick. He's not going to play. It's a front office order, and Thibodeau is following through with it. Do I disagree with it? Sure. I like Cam. You all know I love Cam. I've been advocating for him to play since he's come here. I think he's a talented young kid. He has the size, all the stuff we talk about, the defense, the athleticism, his ability to get to the hoop in 2 strides from the top of the key, right? And yes, they definitely could have used his length last night to get some stops, right? They needed stops and not points, so I couldn't care less to see Fournier out there last night. All that, I get it, I understand it. But again, we have to know, we have to expect it now, that it's not happening anymore. And this outrage, it's just a bit much. It's just a bit much. Like, some of us are acting like these prospects and young players that we've got on the Knicks are the next Kawhi Leonard. It's just very hypocritical, too. Like, a lot of us were all crying. Like, you guys were bitching about the kids not playing enough, so they finally play enough. And now you're bitching that they're playing too much. And then, last night, when Thibs expands the rotation by 2 players and, gives Evan and Rose some burn, you bitch about it again. And yes, it was gross. I'll admit, seeing D. Rose, Evan Fournier, and Isaiah Hartenstein, that trio was yuck. There was absolutely no defense. But, you guys, we must pick a damn side. Some of you you're angry. You want heads to fall. And you're just never going to be on board with Thibodeau. So it's fire Thibs after every loss. But the Knicks are not re-signing Cam this summer. They're not. They are planning to trade him, clearly. And they want something decent in return. So they're not going to risk playing him and having his value deplete if he gets injured, whatever. It's just like you guys are acting like if Cam were to play last night, the Knicks win by 30 points. Like it's Cam Reddish. It's Cam Reddish. Okay? Not to mention he's got some motor problems himself. Why do you think it's personal? It's not personal. It's not personal. It's straight up business. You can have your emotions, but you've got to put that away at the end of the day. Put away your fandom, your infatuation, whatever. It's business, politics. All this, and here comes another old man quote, but all this snowflakey garbage too about his mental health being affected. Feeling bad for him sitting on the bench, not getting minutes is so soft. It's so soft, but very predictable with this generation of fans, right? Listen, if the Knicks wind up keeping him after the February 9th cutoff, then yes, you may have yourself a point. But right now, no, I understand what they're trying to do. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. Right? You can disagree with something, but understand why someone may think that. And remember, this is the second team now that's, been in this situation with Cam. I don't know that organizations love his motor. They can't seem to untap his full potential. Right? So the Knicks didn't lose last night because Cam Reddish didn't play. They didn't lose because they were fatigued and gassed from Thibs being so mean and giving guys heavy minutes in an overtime battle either the night before, 2 nights before. No. These are NBA players, okay? And I'm not saying Thibs is 100% right on this all. But to sit here and act like we are losing solely or even mainly losing games simply because pro athletes are playing big minutes and the coach is not expanding the rotation to give even more role players their minutes, that is a mentally ill thought process. You want to know why we're losing? You ready? You ready for the harsh truth here? They're losing because they just simply don't have that much talent. And so on nights like this, like last night, when the Knicks aren't giving their all, they will most likely lose because they don't have the talent to play cruise control and get away with it. And that is all. That is all. The Knicks are mediocre. They have been competitive in most games this season. And that is all you can ask given what we currently have. So I'm not tripping too much over any of this. I just think this is going to be the way until we get that star we desperately need. So in the meantime, all I want is to win as much as we possibly can. Try as hard as possible. And when that guy becomes available, then this fake Tony Soprano looking motherfucker better strike this time and not hang on to draft picks and middle of the pack talent that the fan base is so obsessed with. Speaking of the middle of the pack talent that we have, I don't really want to go over these individual performances, but let's just say a few words on some of them. Quickly had a nice night last night. Julius Randle is hot right now. I guess I'll give him a Bing Bong game ball from last night.
Bing bang.
41, 11, and 7, shot 52%. Good for him. I believe in the next episode we'll have our progress reports for 2 months into the season. And he's going to be one of the better players on the team. He now has 11 Bing Bong balls on the season. And our second award, going to quickly. I'm sorry, Fournier. came off the bench last night. But the bench sucks, so yeah, he was the best one off the bench. His first game since what? October, November? Yeah, man. Not much. D-Rose sucks. He's washed. He looks awful every time he steps on the floor. Mitch Robinson last night was pitiful to watch. He was a complete no-show. No points, 6 boards, stepped slow defensively. He gave you nothing. Big part of that loss. Grimes was 1 for 10, and once again, like we've been saying for the last several episodes now, the kid is way too inconsistent for me to see why everybody thinks he's the next Allen Houston. One game it's a 30-piece, 20-something points. The next he can't crack double figures. So Houston is up next. The Rockets. The final game of this 3-game Texas trip. You win that game, you go back above 500, you come back home and see what happens. I don't know. But, yeah. They've been a joke lately, and I get the anger. Toronto, Chicago, Dallas, San Antonio, all very beatable teams. No wins to show for it. But that's it. Wrap it up with the trivia question when we return. BD4 is located on many different platforms. You can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, and if you do there, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and review. You can listen to it on Spotify, but you can also watch the podcast on both Spotify and YouTube. BD4 is available on many other platforms as well. All you got to do is search it up. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and much more. We also have a website now for BD4. If you go to bd4blog.com, you can find the blog, the podcast links, and also where to find me on social media. Just go to bd4blog.com. Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, we're going to wrap this up. 20-minute episode, that's it. Not even. Let's get to our trivia question of the day. We'll say it 1 or 2 times, repeat it once, whatever, and then that'll be that. Alright, so for episode 457 here, our NYY-NYK-MMA trivia question of the day is: which 2 Knicks got into an infamous fist fight on the first day of practice in 1991? Which 2 Knicks got into an infamous fist fight on the first day of practice in 1991? Alright. I read about this just recently in the book I'm reading. By the way, definitely check out Blood in the Garden. It's by Chris Herring. And I'm not promoting this as like a paid promotion. I just think it's a good book. I wish I was promoted by I wish I had some promotions. But we're such a small podcast, we're not even considered one. Nobody tunes into this. I'm talking to myself right now. So that's it, guys. That's it. The Knicks lose. Again, I just expect all this. At the end of the day, they are a 500 team, and they will continue to be a 500 team from now until the rest of the season and forever until they get that star. They have no stars. They have role players and decent players. Right? Their best player, Brunson, decent. That's it. That's it. Their coach is at worst doing average. He was given a mediocre roster, and he has them playing at a mediocre rate, dead 500, 18-18. So the Knicks lose to the Spurs 122-115. Get out rebounded by 10. 5 less assists. They shoot 9% worse. That's it. 18-18 on this season. The Knicks lose. And I'll see you in the next show. I'm going to try to do some Yankees between now and the next couple of years. Maybe this weekend. Did I just say between now and the next couple of years? I obviously meant the next couple of days. In the new year. So look forward to a Yankees episode. It'll be soon, and there should be a guest on. I'm going to try to get at least one, maybe 2 guests for this Yankees episode that we do soon. It'll be an off-season episode. Talk about what's happened and what we expect going forward and all that stuff. But as far as the Knicks go, I'll see you in 4:58 probably when we talk about this upcoming Houston Rockets game on Saturday night. So that's it. Later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.